welcome to another episode of the Personal PR Show. Today we are here with Hannah, the one and only Hannah. And I have to tell you something. This is a weird conversation between Hannah and myself because usually we speak Italian, but for you guys, speak English, right, Hannah?
Yes, I think it would only be fair to speak in the common language.
That's cool. Welcome, Hannah, to the Personal PR Show. It's so cool. So we're so pleased to have you here. And by the way, where are you? Because I know that you are in a different time zone than the Central European time.
I am. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. I am in Eastern Standard Time. I moved to Philly, just outside Philadelphia, on the 1st of August. So it's almost my 3-month anniversary. So I'm on the East Coast.
Wow, on the East Coast. So for you, it's like 11:35 a.m.
It is indeed.
Wow. So just after this live, you will go and have lunch and I will go and have dinner.
Have your dinner.
Exactly. That's so cool. Awesome. Hannah, so where did you move from, by the way? Because you said you knew to Philly, but where did you used to live until a few months ago?
Yeah, sure. So we were in Hampshire in the UK, which is like 30 miles west of London. So I was there with my family. I've got 2 children and my husband was transferred to the US a couple of years ago now, but COVID and other bits and bobs slowed us down. We arrived in the summer finally, and we're really enjoying it. It's nice. It's fun having some adventures.
Yes, and the autumn there is amazing, right? With beautiful colors. I mean, autumn is nice everywhere, but I think especially there, especially like Boston and the like northeast part of the States. Really nice.
Yeah, that's true. We were up in Vermont weekend before last because my husband's got family here, and we went up to Vermont for the fall, as they call it here, and I have to say it was spectacular. Like, yeah, I'm looking out of my window here and there are some beautiful colors on the trees, but it's just in abundance up there. Like, we hiked a mountain and the views were just amazing. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
Wow. And do you miss England a little bit?
There are certain things that make me homesick. It was funny. And it's weird how it crops up. And you may have had this as well, because I know you're an Italian living in Switzerland. We went to what they call a soccer match here. And just calling football soccer makes me feel a little bit homesick. I'm like, it's not soccer. But we went to see the national Philly team here they're called the Union. And we went to see them, I think it was the beginning of September. Yeah, the Queen had just passed away. And we were sat there watching it, and they put up this picture of the Queen, like, and a moment's silence and all this. And I just felt a bit homesick then. And football was not as it is in the UK. Like, there's a lot of entertainment, lots of things going on in and around the football match. And I was like, this is not like English football, just normal English football. It's the only time I felt homesick. I was just like, I just wanted to watch a football match. I don't need all this extra stuff. I mean, it's so funny.
So you're pretty happy now that the World Cup is coming up in the next few weeks, right?
Absolutely. I can get myself back into the football World Cup. No, it's the funniest things, isn't it?
Yes. And Hannah, I know, talking about the World Cup that brings us all the way to Doha, I remember that when you were in corporate until a few years ago, you used to jet set all around the world, right?
I did. Okay, so I worked for a media company in the UK in my corporate days, and I would travel like at least twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month. I would jet off all over the place. I was head of the events and marketing department, and we would organise conferences, exhibitions, dinners, roundtable lunches, all sorts of things all over the world. I was so lucky. I got to visit some really, really cool places all over the world. But then, like so many women, I had my children and just thought, actually, this job doesn't work for me in that way anymore. And I couldn't do what had made it so fun anymore. Well, I could have done, but I just didn't really desire it. I wanted to, the flexibility of being around my children. But Doha was one place I never went to though. I did go to the Middle East quite a lot, but I never made it to Doha.
Maybe for
one day. Yeah, one day.
But I totally understand what you mean with kids, because I already felt this for my kittens, and they are only cats, right? So I can only imagine, I can't even begin to imagine how it feels for your real kids, exactly. So I totally understand. This is one of the reasons why I decided to start my own business, to really spend more time with my kittens.
Oh, that's lovely.
exactly. So wow, how cool. So you had this corporate career, jet setting all around the world with a lot of responsibility. And then what happened? Then you had your kids. And then is this the reason why you decided to become an entrepreneur? Because you're an entrepreneur?
Well, it was the catalyst, because I had always wanted to do something for myself. I don't know if anybody else who's watching this can resonate with this, but I meandered through my corporate days. I kind of followed it was like a series of coincidences, enjoyed myself, but had this feeling I should be doing something else, but I had absolutely no idea what that was. I felt like I needed to reinvent the wheel. I needed to create something, invent something brand new. And then, so I just kind of carried on. And then I had my kids. Well, I had my first child, I had my daughter, and I knew I had this deep sense I couldn't carry on doing what I was doing. And I really criticized myself, actually. I beat myself up quite a bit, feeling unambitious, like, oh no, I don't want to go back to corporate. I saw quite a few of my friends going back to work and things like that. And I spoke to my boss at the time and I said, I'd like to change the job if possible. Could we make it work? And he said, well, no, we can't make that work. We need you to travel still. So I quit. And then he actually came back and he said, no, we really don't want to lose you. We're going to change it for you. And it was very kind of him to do that, but it stripped away all the fun stuff. And I just really did not feel very satisfied. My son arrived, so I had 2 children. And then I just thought, you know what, actually, this is the perfect opportunity for me to change things up. And I had this big desire to work for myself. I ended up doing corporate consulting for a few years, actually. And while I was corporate consulting, I had this deep desire to start working with women, helping them kind of rise up out of this feeling of like lack of fulfillment, frustration, that they should be doing something more. And it all just kind of came to me. I was like, I know what I should be doing. I have this wealth of experience in like marketing, branding, project management, event organization. And it didn't happen overnight, absolutely not. And I couldn't actually break away from the corporate consulting because it was very comfortable. You know, you're earning money, it's regular, it's coming in. And it wasn't until a contract came to an end naturally. They made the decision that I was then, okay, this is a sign now. Do this yourself. Go out and do this yourself. Do the thing. And I'm so thankful because I went through a whole kind of mix of emotions when it happened. I felt scared at one point. I was like, oh my gosh, losing the money, all that kind of stuff, to suddenly like relief and then courage. Oh, you can do this, actually, let's do this. So yeah, and fast forward however many years, I'm now here and loving what I'm doing and just kind of, but thankful for everything that I've been through. You know, I will never ever regret my corporate days because they taught me so much. And, you know, I'm here now because of that.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So what do you do today, Hannah?
Well, today I am a business coach and a mentor to female leaders primarily, although I do coach guys occasionally, which I love as well, but primarily to female leaders who are either deep in the trenches of growing a business or are on the cusp of growing something and like truly desiring to make that break of independence and build something for themselves. And my business coaching is not purely strategy based, it's very holistic as well. For me, it is so important that we really connect with our vision, we connect with what it is that we really, really want to create. Well-being is so important. I went through a big healing journey last year. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It completely changed my perspective on life, looking after myself, self-love, self-care. So I really dive into that deeply with my clients because for me, throwing my, I burnt out a few years ago when I first started working for myself because I was just doing too much. And I think it's, it can be very tempting when you start working for yourself to throw everything that you've got at it. But is that sustainable? Can you do that in the long term?
This is such a good question, a question that I'm asking myself as well every now and then because I don't work a lot. Because I'm new to this. So of course, I totally understand. So basically your experience of burning out a few years ago and also the healing journey that you went through last year after you were diagnosed with cancer, with breast cancer, these two experiences changed you as a person, but also changed you as a mentor, right? So I'm sure that these experiences are now reflected in your style of mentorship and coaching as well, right? So this is amazing. It's amazing. And I think that, and that leads us maybe also to your personal brand, to today's topic. The title of our topic today is how to build a personal brand that expresses your true voice. Do you think that these experiences that you had is to, we have many more experiences in our lives that shape us, of course, but now we're focusing on these 2 experiences. Do you think that they also contributed to create the personal brand that you have today?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. Like before the burnout, I was just really strategy focused. I felt like if you cut me in half, all I was business strategy. And I was there. I wanted to share that. I wanted to be valuable. I wanted to impart everything I knew. And I just felt like if I wanted to stand out, then I needed to kind of prove that I knew new strategies, and I was forever learning new things. Like I was wanting to learn, know how to do this. I felt like I needed this kind of armor, like this, all the tools. And then I burnt out and realized that I was not doing myself any favors at all. And I started to talk about, okay, you might have this vision. And at the time when I first started working for myself, there was a lot of buzz on the internet. The trending content was like, work hard for a few years and then relax and enjoy the rewards. And I had fed into that. I had really taken that on board. And a community I was part of was really like, yeah, just work. And I have a little bit of an addictive personality and absolutely took that on board. But it took me burning out to realize, actually, no, that is, absolutely not a way of running a business that I would endorse. So I naturally talk about that. That forms very much part of my message. And then with the diagnosis last year, initially, it completely blocked me. I was going through so much physically and emotionally that I didn't know how to talk about it online. I knew that I wanted to, and I knew that I would. And it took a while. I did some work with actual branding coaches, messaging coaches myself, because I knew it was there, but I needed to kind of have somebody help me get it out. And it absolutely is. I mean, I talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. Initially, I was like, I'm going to scare people off if I talk about this. And it's not that I want to really talk about the disease, if that makes sense, but I want to talk about the importance of looking after ourselves. It took what happened to me last year to learn how to look after myself. I have a tendency to not sleep enough, put myself last, as a mum, a wife. I would always put myself at the bottom of things. And it's absolutely changed the way I mentor, as you said, but also, what I'm talking about. Like, our brand is essentially us, isn't it? When we talk about our brand, it's what we talk about. It's our values. It's what we stand for. And it has undoubtedly changed me so much.
Wow. So what is like, I think this is so generous what you're doing now, because the journeys, you were the person who went through these 2 journeys, right? The burnout and the cancer, and you made it through. And then, of course, now you are, so to say, enjoying the results, the positive consequences, the results. But now you're even, let's say, open to sharing this, what you learned, the learnings that you gathered with other people. So I find this extremely, extremely generous, because there are so many people who go through something, they learn something, they have positive consequences, even from bad experiences, and then they keep them to themselves, right? And then that's great already that they learn something and their life gets better, of course, because there's a value shift, maybe priority shift and so on. So that's already great. But what you are doing by making these experiences part of your personal brand is that you're really sharing these experiences with other people. So you're like a beacon of hope, I would say, for other people that, they might be going through a similar situation, but they might not. But still, even though they don't go through these experiences, they can still kind of, learn from you and actually, have benefits from you going through that experience. So I think it's such a valuable gift that you're offering to people, and it really speaks to, I think, to contribution being one of your values, I would say.
Thank you. Yeah, beacon of hope. I've not thought of that.
Oh, definitely.
And I totally respect people that go through an illness and can't talk about it because, you know, we all react to things in different ways. But it's like this, I knew that it's funny, I try not to talk about things and show up online and I can't stop. There's always like, I don't know if you're the same, but I just have this, I have a message to share, and the message will change, like as we grow as people, entrepreneurs, you know, our message will change. But I couldn't stay quiet about it. It would not have felt very authentic of me to just carry on after I finished my treatment, to just carry on as I had done before, you know, business coaching and whatnot. Like people, when, you know, when you work with people as a business coach, they're connecting with you. It's, you know, it's not just a label of, oh, I'll just find a business coach. You know, it's the very connection, it's the very feeling you have of working with somebody. So yeah, and I had to share, I had to talk about it.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I was reading, like on my phone, I was reading the title of our conversation today, and it says how to build a personal brand that expresses your true voice. And it's exactly what you said in the last 2-3 sentences. You instead of saying true, you said authentic, but it's basically anonymous in this context, right? My God, this is amazing. Yes. So what did you notice after maybe, you know, tweaking your message after the second experience last year? Did you notice that you actually started to attract different people, or slightly different in terms of audience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I have definitely noticed that there's a different level of care. Well, not the word care, the focus is different and priorities are different. So I am never going to be a coach that is going to, my messaging is never going to be, I'm going to help you reach 6 figures, or I've earned X amount of money. For me, this kind of concept of success is so deeply personal. Somebody it doesn't matter how much somebody earns, that might not be their goal. It may be that they get to work from home and go to the school run or something like that. It may be that they're deeply impacting people. And I have found that the women that I'm working with now are not coming to me just saying, oh, I've got to earn X, or I've got to do, you know, it's not material. I'm finding that, yeah, sure, they're ambitious women. They want to grow their business, but there's also this deep sense of, I desire a balanced life. I really want to enjoy my family. I want to enjoy my life. And that is as important for them, and establishing that balance and creating a business that doesn't become too much, that isn't, you know, this whole guilt thing. Like, you know, I used to feel guilty if I was working too much on my business, not spending enough time with my kids. And then if I was with my kids, like I feel this anxiety rising, like, oh, I've got things to do, I need to be doing that. And I do find that the women that I'm working with now are women that they want to have everything, and they can. And it's working out how they want it, what is truly going to light them up. So yeah, it's a good question. And my customers, I don't use the word customers everywhere, my clients have really changed. Yeah, I have noticed that.
Yeah, exactly. Because like our messaging filters some people in and some people out.
Of course.
Of our audience and of our clientele as well. That is great. And by the way, Hannah, I remember that a few months ago, I watched a masterclass given by you about the topic of personal branding. So you have so many areas of expertise, and personal branding is one of them. And we've talked about your story a few minutes ago. And also I remember that going back to that masterclass, I remember that storytelling was one of the main topics as well. Should we talk about that for a second? What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. And I remember that you were talking about the main story and then some sub stories as well, right? Should we maybe, I don't know, dedicate a few minutes to this topic? Would you like to?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. So what is the main story and what are the sub stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So quite often people are scared of sharing their stories online. They think either, actually my story is really boring, I've heard it so many times, it doesn't make me stand out. But it's your stories that will really connect you with people and that really make you stand out, because you're going to tell your story in such a different way than the next person, and you're going to share it in a different voice, in a different style, and you can really showcase your personality. And so I think it's just such an important way of growing your audience, building that connection, and inspiring people, inspiring your community to take the next step. You kind of showcase your results, you showcase your experience, what you've been through, to inspire somebody who's maybe a few steps behind you to take the plunge, to walk the path you've walked, knowing that there is hope and that, you know, they can find what they're looking for if they do that. And storytelling is so old. It's like thousands of years people have been sharing lessons or experiences through storytelling. And talking about like a main story, just kind of, you can reflect back on like key events in your life, key things that you've been through that have shaped you and changed you along the way. And that may form part of your message. It may form part of, you know, just like when you're sharing content online, something that you refer to. So if I ever think about major things in my life, it's like living abroad. I lived in Italy, which is why I speak Italian, like when I was younger. And, you know, having my children was a profound change in my life, you know. And then obviously this health journey is a new story that I'm telling and learning to tell. But there are also like, so you may think, okay, there's one thing that I really want to share. There's one thing that I feel like shapes me as a person that you can talk about. But then there are other kind of the sub stories. There are the other things that are perhaps no less important, but that you talk about less, but you weave into your content. So, you know, the fact that I come from corporate, that is a story that I tell. It's an important story for me. It helps me connect and relate to clients who have also come from corporate. I don't tend to work with nomadic types because that's not what I've ever done. So I can't tell any stories about that. I can't inspire or my community to that, but I can share stories of being in corporate and desiring a change and not having the courage, but then having this kind of awakening and realizing that, you know, when I'd had my children, that yes, you can make this change and there is another way of living your life. So if you're struggling ever to, you know, come up with ideas of things to talk about, just go back to, okay, what are my main life experiences? What have I been through? Because there are so many stories to tell. There really are. And you are so unique. Every single person is different out there. You know, stories may seem similar, but we are so different and we're going to tell our story in a different way.
Yes. And by the way, when we tell our stories, you also like the format of the hero's journey. I love it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Exactly. Yeah.
What
so
is because I hear different people calling the stages different. I call it challenge, choice, and outcome. Choice could also be a pivotal moment. What do you call them?
Oh, that's a good, I don't know that I give them a name actually. I don't know. I like yours though, challenge, choice, and outcome. But yeah, there's obviously, yeah, the challenge that everybody faces a problem, a struggle. So I've used the word struggle. That's the word that I was, yeah. And then you have, yeah, it's the choice. Yeah. I don't have words. I don't know, Jessica. I don't have my own words for those, but obviously with every story, there's like the struggle. Then there is, you know, the choice. There's this, what, you know, the options that become available to you. And then the outcome, the success story at the end, the happy ending, you know. Yeah.
Totally. Yes. And we all have so many people think that they don't have stories or they don't have hero journeys. Oh my God, we all have them in different areas of our life. It's about finding them.
It is. And you talked about the hero's journey. And one thing about storytelling that's important to remember whenever you're telling a story, especially as an online brand, you know, is to remember that the hero of the story is always the person reading it. So you want to involve them. It's not just about you. You have to like remain focused on what is the purpose of this story? Who am I trying to help? Who am I trying to inspire? So it's bringing the reader into it and reminding them that you're telling this story for their purpose and to help them.
Oh my God, you're so right. And this is the reason also why you are telling stories about corporate, for example, and talking and having your audience, an audience consisting of, for example, corporate people kind of related to corporate in a way or another. And you're not talking to the digital nomads because you don't have any stories or hero's journeys or any stories to tell about that. Exactly. So the story And our hero's journeys and our story goes hand in hand really with our audience. Absolutely. Yeah. And that makes us credible, certainly. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, it's all that credibility and the embodiment factor. It's like walking your talk, you know, it's sharing stories that are honest and coming back to talk, you know, developing a personal brand that expresses your true voice. It can be so tempting, or not even just tempting, but social media itself can be such a distraction, and it can really throw us off. So, you know, when you go into business, when you create something, you have a why, you have a movement, you have a mission. There's something fundamentally that you want to create in the world, but it can be so easy to lose touch with that along the way and be distracted by what other people are doing in your industry. And you think, oh, okay, well, that might be working for them, so maybe I should be doing that too. And people are telling certain stories, so I should try and find a story like that. But you know, let's just come back to us and come back to what our personal vision is, what it is that's important to us, and just be honest and just speak your truth. I only think good things will come of that. I really do.
Exactly. No, I love that also, because I mean, when you speak your truth, some people, of course, some people will like you less. It's polarizing when you,
of course,
right? It is, because it's the truth. You're not trying to please anybody. So it's the truth is what you really think. So some people will not like it, but some people will love it, right? So the people that will stay with you, that won't unsubscribe, for example, from your email newsletters or from your newsletters or from social media, the people that will stay will like you actually even more, right? And
absolutely.
This is how.
Yeah, and we shouldn't be afraid of people unsubscribing from our lists or unfollowing us, because that means that your messaging is spot on. Then you are filtering. You mentioned the word filtering before. You're kind of calling in your ideal clients, and you're pushing away, you're repelling those that are never going to want to work with you. So, you know, but I think, yeah, speaking your truth, being honest, expressing your opinions, your point of view is so valuable. Don't try and be all things to all people. You know, be yourself, and you will end up calling in your ideal clients for sure.
Yes, definitely. Wow, this is amazing. I love this conversation about messaging and personal brand and authenticity and storytelling, of course. So when it comes to your business coaching, of course, you coach on branding as well, personal branding, and all of the good topics and around business as well. And what would you say if we go to business for a second? Because I mean, you're here on our stage today also as a business coach, and I mean, I would love for you to, you know, for our audience to be able to learn from you around business as well, because you have a wealth of knowledge, so much experience. It would be a pity not to ask a few questions about business as well.
Sure.
I don't know, your three main hacks or main pillars around business, whatever you want to do, you want to talk about, maybe three.
Oh, okay, right. Well, staying true to your vision. That is, like, for me, building the foundation of your business. What is it that you truly desire to create? Forget about what other people are creating. Focus in on you, your life. What are your true desires? Because, as I said before, it's so easy to get distracted by what other people are doing, and you can completely lose your way on your path. So I would, absolutely connect to your vision, your true dreams, your true desires. What else? 3 key things in business. Oh, I love this.
Or if you want to, or that's fine. As many as you wish.
Okay, yeah. Authenticity is a massive one for me. If you're growing a business online, just be yourself, and you know, try to avoid the trends and just really stay true to what it is. And that's connected to your mission. This is all part of this path. It's creating what feels good to you, like absolutely what feels good to you. The final thing that I will leave you on is that there are no rules in business. I don't subscribe. I don't feel like there's I will never teach just one type of strategy to somebody. It's got to feel good. Everybody is totally individual. Some people do not like doing certain things, and that doesn't mean that they are not able to grow a business online. There is, you know, it's so important to just focus on what feels good to us, because if it feels good to you, you can get behind it, and you can do that. So yeah, there's not one kind of idea of success. There really isn't. It's so deeply personal.
And this is really one of the main parts of your messaging, I would say, right? Like the definition of success. First of all, before we start to try to become successful, we have to define what success actually is.
Well, exactly.
Right, exactly. This is so cool. By the way, talking about success, you're pretty successful on social media, especially on Instagram. You have 30,000 followers. How did you get that? This is amazing.
Oh, well, doing lots of speaking at summits always helps, speaking on podcasts, things like that, being in Facebook groups, growing there. But I've also driven traffic before, so if you ever run ads, you can get followers that way as well. But my team regularly goes through and we look at the followers, and we're removing followers as well, because obviously you want your audience to be bang on, you know, your ideal client, the kind of people that you want in. So people will follow me, and then we will actively go through and we might remove people if we don't feel that they're, you know, target audience.
Yeah, this is amazing. Wow. Speaks to you as a strategist, of course. Well done. And how about, no, you just mentioned summits. I know, I heard, a little bird told me, as we say in Italian, that you have a summit coming up.
I do. This is all such good timing, and not intentional at all. But yeah, I'm hosting, it's called Summit to Success Your Way, next week. Monday, it's Tuesday through Friday. So it's the 1st to the 4th of November. And I'm so excited for this. I've got 16 wonderful female leaders, speakers, who are all running their own business, but on their own terms. And this really does come back to this conversation that we've been having about your vision of success, because I'm really trying to move away from, okay, what is it that you want to achieve in your business? Oh, it's got to be 7 figures. Oh, you want 10K months. No, not everybody desires that. You know, let's get back to like just creating what really lights us up, rather than being, you know, influenced by what other people are talking about and other people are deeming to be success. And we're going to be looking at all sorts of things like mamapreneurship, money mindset. We're going to be looking at actually like the mental effects of being an entrepreneur. We're looking at PR, we're looking at branding, we're to health. I have a wonderful lady, Marie Poser, who's going to be talking about epigenetics and looking after ourselves as entrepreneurs. So it's free to register. I can drop the link on the Facebook Live afterwards. If anybody would like to register, be absolutely welcome. And it's going to be in my Facebook group, which is called the Nourished and Thriving Community. So I'm really excited for this. I used to organize events all over the world. I've never organized anything for myself as an entrepreneur. And I was chatting away with my team earlier in the summer. I was like, I want to do something different. I don't want to just host another masterclass. I was like, I'm going to organize an event, and it is going to be chilled and fun. And we're just going to have honest conversations about what it is like to be growing a business at the moment online. Exactly. So anybody watching this is welcome. Exactly.
Oh my God, this is amazing. Yes, definitely. So I have the link as well. I will drop it in the comment section, so you don't have to do it. I'll do it like
beautiful. Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Of course. Perfect. And I will drop your links, your usual links as well. For example, your Instagram, because as we mentioned, you're super successful on Instagram. So we definitely have to follow you. And we know Instagram, like usually, you know, digital communication, especially Instagram, I think is all around personal branding, right? I would say. Yeah.
And it's such a good platform to showcase your personality. You can do funny videos, you can do lives. I mean, and that's the thing, like, you don't have to do all of those things. And, you know, that it all comes back to like, how do you want to show up online? Be yourself, you know? So, and I've been having fun with that. So yeah, check me out. That would be great. Love to connect.
Yes, so please, personal PR friends, have a look at the link and join the summit. Is it going to be a live summit or a pre-recorded?
Yeah, so we're streaming from Zoom into my Facebook group, but the replays will be in the Facebook group. I'm not going to be taking them down. I'm not creating any kind of false urgency there. You've got to join to watch it at the time. I'm going to be leaving the videos there for people to watch at their leisure, or leisure as they say here. So yeah, you just need to join the group and you can watch, and I'll be posting. I've just had some beautiful graphics designed with the times of the sessions and whatnot, so I will be sharing those. So yeah, welcome to join.
Yeah, absolutely. I will join as well. So,
Well,
Hannah, I have a question, which is not a proper question, but let's see. So, what is a question that I haven't asked you yet, but I should have asked you?
oh my gosh, Jessica, putting me on
And
the
it's a
spot
kind of
here.
complicated question.
I don't know, actually. I think we've covered quite a nice broad spectrum of topics here, haven't we? I don't know.
I don't know, it could be a personal question as well around football or around your favorite food or your favorite color.
Oh, I love the color gold. I love the color gold, and it's a color that I've grown into since I've got, you know, just the last couple of years. Actually, I just love the sparkliness of it, and it's just timeless. So that'll do it. And my favorite food is pasta. Having lived in Italy, there is like a million ways that you can cook pasta. I just adore it. So yeah.
So if I were to ask you what your favorite language is, what would you say?
Sicuramente italiano.
Oh, grazie mille. I take it as a personal compliment.
Thank you so much. Love it.
Yes, awesome. Perfect. So I think it could be, Hannah, that we are approaching the end of our time together. So. Unless there's something that you say, oh no, we have to stay 5 minutes longer and absolutely talk about this.
Well, we could talk about pasta for a long time. I know Italians love to talk about food, but I think we've wrapped up. It's actually making me hungry. It's lunchtime here, so I think we are done. But thank you so much. I've loved this. It was so much fun, and yeah, thank you again. Loved it.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us here on the Personal PR Show. And you're welcome to come back anytime, because today we talked about personal branding, but this is just one of the dozens and dozens of topics that you are an expert on. So we could virtually talk about almost anything with you. I mean, business related.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I could say. I don't want to start a whole long conversation, but somebody asked me the other day, I filled out a form to do an intensive session of coaching with a coach. And they were like, what is your superpower? I said, I don't have one superpower. I'm talented at many things. And I think, I don't know if anybody watching this can relate to this. I've been asked that a number of times and beat myself up because I couldn't think of one thing. And I was like, I should be good at one thing. And I'm not. There are many things that I love to talk about and many things I like to work on with my clients. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to come back and talk about all sorts of things with you. It would be super fun.
Oh my God, then you have to come back regularly because you won't be able to pick off all topics otherwise.
Your community will be like, oh my God, not her again.
Our resident columnist on the Personal PR Show, Hannah.
I love that. That sounds so exotic and fun. Oh,
so we'll make it happen.
Grazie, Jessica. That was fun.
Thank you so much, and thank you, friends, for following us. And go follow Hannah, and please sign up for her summit, which is coming up very, very soon, already next week.
Yeah,
awesome,
wonderful.
Grazie.
Un bacio. Ciao.
Okay, grazie. Ciao Bella. Ciao. Bye everybody. Ciao.